Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. I'm Jonathan Freedman, and our next guest is Rana Vig, President and CEO of Blue Lagoon Resources. Welcome to Radio Entrepreneurs.
Thanks for having me.
So I've interviewed many people over the years, and I think I've had a Blue, I've had a Lagoon, and Resources, but never the three put together. So if you can tell us, our listeners, a little bit about what it is that your company does.
Well, we're a mining exploration company just about to go from exploration to production, which is extremely rare in our industry. Of the many thousands that try, just a handful ever make it. In fact, it's so rare that we just received our mining permit just about 4 months ago, back in February, and making us only one of 9 companies in 10 years to have received a full mining permit. So it's extremely rare. So we're about to start mining gold.
Wow, I would imagine the rarity, no pun intended, associated with gold, and I would imagine that the path to get there is challenging. Hence, why so few succeed at getting the permitting. So, congratulations on achieving that hurdle. What was the vision, and how long has the journey been for you to get to where you are today to begin the process of mining?
Well, I started in the mining industry about a dozen years ago. 2008 and 9 had kind of just happened, and the financial crisis. And if you might recall, the whole world seemed like it was collapsing at the time. So, I was in private business at the time, and they were suffering as well. So, a very successful entrepreneur who made most of his money in mining invited me to join the capital markets, and I did. So, kind of learned the ropes. It was a very rough entry, by the way, typical of the entrepreneurial journey. Put in 7 figures back in 2011, and they became like 3 figures in 2012. Right? It all disappeared.
So like, a quick shoot down.
Yeah, nice friend got me in. Well, the whole mining sector collapsed, unfortunately. But you got to be a big boy, a big gal if you're an entrepreneur. So I took over a couple of companies and started kind of learning the ropes, as they say, and how the kind of game works. And then in 2019, I founded this company that I'm currently CEO of, called Blue Lagoon Resources, that trades on the CSC under the symbol BLLG. So we founded it, and the vision was to be in a position of cash flow. This industry is all about really exploration, right? It takes a long time, and it's rare to actually find something significant and then take it to production. So my thought process from
extremely capital intensive
yes,
along the way.
Millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. I've raised over $30 million just for this company to help with the infrastructure and the drilling. But from the very beginning, my thought process was, because I'm not a geologist, I'm not a mining engineer, so my thought process was, what can we get permitted? So we looked at over 200 projects and found this one, and because it's important to be in a position of cash flow, otherwise you're just in this endless cycle of raising money in the hopes of finding something larger, and then of course the next hope is some big boy will come and buy you out, which is very rare.
So how do you identify? Again, you're based in Vancouver. I don't know if your mining operation is going to be in British Columbia, but there's a lot of vast expanse out there. Obviously, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of kilometers of land.
Yes.
How do you hone in? How do you identify where the opportunities are? Not to give away any secret sauce, but how did you narrow all that down and come to the point where you said, okay, this is where we're going to invest? And I imagine from a layperson's perspective, watching gold, Yukon Gold and various television shows, you do a lot of testing, right? To ascertain whether or not it's got some of the geological features and formations that you're looking for. But is that a long part of the process, is to really narrow down the where?
Yeah, well, look, how you do it is you surround yourself with some very, very smart people, right? And my method of operation always is make sure I'm the dumbest guy in the room, right? You want some, get
Good
some
strategy.
get some very smart people around you, and that's what you do. That's what I did. We worked with many different consultants and advisors, and put the word out that we're looking for projects, and they bring you all sorts of different things, and then it's up to you to kind of make the decision to see what boxes they tick. And for this project is in British Columbia. It's in northern British Columbia, so it's a tier 1 jurisdiction, very safe. the last thing I wanted to be is in some jurisdiction where I need a whole, six guys with the machine guns in a helicopter, protecting me. So we found this project in northern British Columbia, very, very robust. And how you find it also is that, they say, where do you find, the gold? Well, you find it where they were already a mining operation, where there already was gold. So this was a past producing mine that got shut down due to economic reasons. Gold, sat around very, very low, below 1,000 for many, many years and decades. And then, of course, now it's, taking off. So the economics change. And the beauty of this industry is that, the gold or the mineral that you're looking for isn't going anywhere. It's been sitting there for millions of years, and, you can wait it out.
So has the industry changed? Of course, machinery, equipment, that aspect has changed over time. Is there been tremendous advent in terms of technology for either discovering, finding, mining, or is it still an incredibly physically intense, time-consuming process? And the only thing that's changed is, some of the equipment can blast faster than dynamite charges perhaps that they used historically, or thinking about sluice and the sluice box and things of that nature. Scale has changed and the power of the equipment has changed, so you could do more in a quicker period of time. But is it an industry that has really kept pace with technology from that perspective?
Well, yes and no. I mean, in the core of it hasn't really changed much. You still have to drill, deep down and bring out this core, of mere inches to determine and to do assays to determine, have you found something there? So it's a very capital intensive and very labor intensive, and a slow process. And not much has changed from that perspective. The data processing is changing, with AI. There's all sorts of tools that are becoming available that you can use. But the core of it, the essence of it is to find something, the discovery, you still got to go and drill to find, to make sure that your theories are correct and where you think it is.
And is typically it works a similar way in terms of you identify a place and somebody is a holder of that land and it's a lease situation where you lease the rights and then there's some sort of revenue model or associated with the leasing that, similar to a retail store, the store does well, the landlord does better, or
Yeah, there's various. It depends on the jurisdiction that you're in. And in British Columbia, most of it is government land, the Crown land. However, one of the keys is the First Nations. You have to be able to work with the First Nations. You have to be able to demonstrate that you are going to take care of the land and create some economic benefits for that particular nation, that particular group that is on that land. That is absolutely key. Cannot move forward without that one piece.
And that's fascinating. So it's a complicated piece because there's multiple parties involved. Anytime there's multiple parties, it makes it probably exponentially more difficult. What is the time frame? Is it a that the expectation is now? Of course, part of it is must be related to what you expect or what you do find. But is it a commitment once you start mining? It's a 10-year, a 20-year. What does that window look like?
Well, that depends on your mine plan. So once you have determined that you have something there in the ground, right? You have engineers who develop a mine plan for you. The mine plan dictates how many years it's going to be. So in our case, for example, we have 218,000 ounces currently that we've identified, and we have a 15-year mine plan. So we're going to start off by mining 15,000 ounces every year. Next year, we expect to go to 20,000. But if you extrapolate that, that's roughly a 15-year mine life. Now, what we'll do is as we develop the free cash flow, we'll take that and we'll start to do more drilling because we know there's more there. We have a pathway to 1 million. So then we'll start drilling that and to make that go back to the engineers. They'll go back to the sort of the drawing board and figure out, okay, if you mine, here. I mean, I'm oversimplifying it, obviously. That's where the gold is, and the mine life will increase. So basically, it's a combination of the data that you acquire through drilling and getting it back to the technical team to give you that roadmap, basically, to mine out what you're looking for.
It's really fascinating. I think of your industry and your model and what you're trying to do as really almost a model for entrepreneurism in general. Everybody from the outside sees things happen, the pot of gold at the end, no pun intended. But that happened overnight. Yet the process that you're involved in and many entrepreneurs go through is many, many years of working towards something in order to reap the rewards on the back end. So this really exemplifies what being an entrepreneur is all about.
Well, in this industry, will test you to the limit because you raise all sorts of capital, but you have no permit, you have no environmental clearances. You have when you start, you have no agreements with the First Nations. I mean, everything is stacked against you. It's like opening up a restaurant, but having no license to actually operate, and you got to wait 5, 10, 15 years before you actually get the license to operate. I mean, it's a very interesting business that for sure. But then, having said that, the rewards are tremendous. If you're able to succeed, which is why the barrier to entry is so high. And the average in this province is over 15 years before you can get a license, a permit. And we got it in just under 5. So.
Wow. Well, testament to your dedication and commitment, but also the perseverance. So, congratulations. We wish you tremendous success as you ramp up the operation. If people want to get in touch with you, they want to learn more about the business, learn more about what you're doing, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
The best is to go to our website, www.bluelagoonresources.com. There's an email link there. They can write me an email. I'm happy to engage. Love speaking to investors, love speaking to shareholders, and I'll be happy to get. It might take me a little bit to get back to them because I get a lot of emails, but I definitely will get back. And this is an incredible time. Gold is at record highs. It's an incredible time to be involved in this industry.
Fantastic. Wish you continued success. Our guest has been Rana Vig, President and CEO of Blue Lagoon Resources. It's been a pleasure having you on Radio Entrepreneurs.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
And we'll be right back with another segment on Radio Entrepreneurs.